What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Test This Tech. And AYANEO just released an announcement yesterday on Halloween announcing a phone. They are going to be doing an AYANEO phone. I'm going to read this post here that they put on Twitter/X. It says here that AYANEO's first mobile phone is coming when mobile phone meets the soul of gaming handheld. Remake the retro, reviving familiar emotions right in your hands. AYANEO phone, a mobile phone truly made for gamers, born from the pure love of gaming. And then they have a picture of the back of the phone, which it looks pretty sleek, I would say. And that's it. That's all we know so far. So I wanted to talk about just a few things to speculate when it comes to the AYANEO phone. So starting from specifications, right? When it comes to the AYANEO phone, I would imagine from a hertz perspective, we should be seeing, 120, maybe 144 up to 165 hertz on this phone is what I would imagine when it comes to the refresh rate. The chipset is an interesting conversation. I feel like that's kind of the biggest, the $1 million question, if you will, if they're going to use the Snapdragon Elite, if they're going to be using that, or if they're going to be doing that the Snapdragon Gen 3X, Gen 2, or the Gen 3. So I'm curious to see what type of chipset they're going to use, and wonder if they're going to be using a whole newer chipset. So that does beg the question, if they are doing a newer chipset, what is the compatibility going to look like when it comes to emulation, things of that nature? Just because that has been, when it comes to the G3X Gen 2 series of chipsets on some of these AYANEO devices, there has been a couple of issues when it comes to compatibility, not even for specifically, driver support, but also Wi-Fi support. Some of those chipsets, I know Retro Handles 24, he was mentioning it on his channel, how he was having some Wi-Fi issues with, I want to say it was with his Pocket S2 Pro, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I know he was saying that some of the chipsets on some of the AYANEO devices, they were having some Wi-Fi issues. So that is a big thing, right? Especially if this was going to be considered for streaming. That's something that they need to rail down when it comes to the type of Wi-Fi that we're going to be looking at. I would assume Wi-Fi 7, if not faster. This has the biggest thing that this has to have, that if it doesn't have this, and I would even consider it, and I'm pretty sure they've thought of this, but active cooling. A lot of our mobile phones are incredibly powerful, and in most of our mobile phones, I would arguably say, if it's like S24 and up, for as far as for Samsung, from Android perspective, you can you have a PlayStation 2 in your pocket. You can play PS2 titles. You can play some Switch titles. Obviously, when it comes to Game Hub, you can download a lot of PC titles, and you have a PC emulator in your pocket. But a lot of these games, some of them are very demanding. And if you don't have active cooling your device, the chipset, so it's not going to have any overheating or throttling, that is going to be a big loss for AYANEO if they don't have a really solid cooling function. I'm pretty sure they're going to do that, just because for the Red Magic series, I believe all of their phones and even their tablet, there is an active cooling within it. So that has to be one of the top things for them to really implement within this phone. So for example, I was gonna do a PT playable teaser gameplay on my phone using the S24 Plus, but surprise, the S24 Plus does not have active cooling, so it would actually shut down because it just got so hot on the device, and I didn't have that active cooler for that GameSir has that you can get with the controller for the X5, the X5 Lite or the X5S. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at. Everything else I think is going to be great. It would be nice for this to be an OLED panel too. I know there's a lot of AYANEO devices that aren't OLED and some that are. Just give us the OLED AYANEO, and you can charge whatever you want to charge to if you feel that it's worth it to you. I feel like it's probably going to be priced alongside with the Red Magic devices. If it goes a little bit less, that would be nice, especially because they just released this Conquer Pocket Fit line as well, which is supposedly their budget device, right? So If they do this means test for the AYANEO phone and say it's in the prices alongside of their regular devices, like the Pocket S2 Pro, things of that nature, I would like for them to have a budget phone option similar to the Conquer Pocket Fit, even if it's like the AYANEO Conquer Pocket phone or something like that, and to have really sweet settings. From a as far as for the avail of what the phone will be able to perform on as an actual phone, obviously that's another question mark as well. I doubt that it'll be available for Verizon. More than likely it'll be available for, those other towers, but not the CDMA. If it been using that anymore, that could be a pretty old statement, outdated statement that I just made. But anyway, I'll leave it there. I'm very curious. We'll just have to see what happens. Again, test this tech. I'll catch you guys next video. Thanks a lot.